Hi guys, my name is Akila, and as you can tell from the title of this video, I'm going to be explaining to you exactly how I grew out my hair. This video comes highly requested from the girlies around me, my cousins, my friends, my co-workers, just about everyone wanting to know exactly what I did and how I did it. And even though I do a good job of explaining to them in the moment what I did, I just thought it would be a good idea for me to put it all in one video. So I wrote everything down and I'm here to spill all of the tea. Just a quick overview on my hair. I went from fully permed, damaged, heat damaged, fried, dyed, chopped, screwed, bleached, colored, you name it, I did it. My hair was in the worst condition that it could have ever been in. Even though it still had length to it, my hair was not healthy at all. And now here I am. I'm fully natural. My hair is growing, it's thriving, it's long, it's almost to the middle of my back at this point. And I know along the way there were a few things that I've done that I continue to do that has helped me get my hair to where it is now. I never did a big chop. I transitioned my hair, and the transition took some time. Parts of my hair transitioned faster than others. Throughout the video, I'm gonna show you pictures and videos of the journey. Yeah, let's get right into it. I tried my hardest to film this video with my hair straight so that you guys can see the true length of it, but I must have underestimated the humidity in New York the day I got my silk press, because as soon as I stepped outside, my hair responded to every bit of moisture in the air and just became a frizzy mess. But I did still want to share with you guys the process and how I got it straight. So here you see my friend blow drying my hair. We're going to talk more about that later on in the video. And now you can kind of see the length starting to show with the first round of flat ironing that she did. If I was smart, I would have worn a different color shirt, but hopefully you guys get the drift. So this is what it looked like after the first set of flat ironing. And now she's trimming my hair, and this is honestly my favorite part of the process. We're going to talk about this later in the video as well, but I just love getting rid of the dead ends, knowing that when my hair grows, it's going to be growing nice and long and healthy. This was after she finished trimming, and she's going through with that last set of flat ironing right before we're finished. And this is the finished product. She added some moisture and some shine back to my hair, and now you can see the true length. So let's get right into the video. So the first tip that I have for you guys is moisture, moisture, moisture. I honestly cannot stress it enough, because to me that is the key to this entire operation. The fact is that dry, brittle hair is not going to grow. So the best thing we want to do for our hair is make sure that it's moisturized practically majority of the time. Develop a moisturizing routine, and the one that I use is one that's been around since the beginning of time, and it's pretty much 3 ingredients: water, leave-in conditioner, followed by any oil of your choice. And the oil acts as a sealant, because without it, the water and the leave-in is just going to dry. So what the oil does is, even when it is dry, that moisture is still locked in. So the oil that I use is olive oil. You can use whatever oil your hair responds well to, whether it's tea tree oil, coconut oil, peppermint oil, whatever oil, vitamin E oil, whatever oil your hair works well with. But for me, it's olive oil. So what I do is I put my hair up in a loose ponytail. Section by section, I take a little bit of hair down. I spray it with water, not to the point where it's soaking wet, dripping, but I do want to saturate my hair in the water. And then I detangle that wet section. I put a little bit of leave-in conditioner in my hands, rub it in, rake it through to make sure all of the strands are covered with the leave-in from root to tip. I do that, and then I follow that up with the oil. I pour some oil in the middle of my hands, rub it in, I rake that through, and then I twist that section. I repeat that process until my hair is full of wet twists, and then I leave it to let it air dry, which usually takes about a day, maybe a day and some change. And once my hair is dry, I'll untwist it and I'll style it, either as a twist out, leave it down, or I'll put it up like this in a pineapple. And if I don't have anything going on during that time, I'll just leave that in until it's time for me to do my moisturizing routine again. which I do on average every other day, so every 2 days. You want to figure out your hair's porosity level, which practically just means how well your hair retains moisture. I know that there are a few porosity tests, but I think the more popular one is if you put your hair, a strand of your hair, you can get it up from your brush or your comb, put a strand of your hair inside of a glass of water and leave it for a few minutes. After a few minutes, it's either going to sink to the bottom, which means your hair is high porosity, or it floats to the top, which means your hair is low porosity, or it's going to stay in the middle, which means your hair is somewhere in the middle. Once you figure out how well your hair retains the moisture, that is how you determine how often you need to use your moisturizing routine. I personally did not need to do a hair porosity test to know that my hair does not retain moisture well at all. So what that means is I have to manually go in and add that moisture in all the time. So like I said, I do my routine on average every 2 days. If by the second day I don't do it, I make sure by the third day I do it, but I do not let too much time go by without me doing my moisturizing routine. So that is my first tip. Develop a moisturizing routine. Water, leave-in conditioner of your choice, oil of your choice, and figure out how often you need to do your moisturizing routine and stick with that schedule. The second tip I have for you guys is to drastically reduce the amount of heat you put on your hair. If you can completely eliminate heat, by all means sis, go ahead, but drastically reduce the amount of heat that you put on your hair. For me, like I said in my first step, I do my moisturizer routine multiple times a week and there's no heat involved in that. I do not blow dry it, I let it air dry. The only time I put heat to my hair is when I'm doing my protective styles. Those are my braids, my twists, whatever protective style I'm doing in the moment. My stylist usually blow dries my hair just a little bit so that the root of my hair is flat and not puffy. And even in those situations, we developed a routine for blow drying my hair. We started off blow drying it on cool, and we learned real quick that that was just like not smart. It doesn't do anything, it doesn't dry your hair at all. I think that's only a setting so that the blow dryer doesn't overheat. So what we do now, we blow dry it on low, and we do the least amount of passes with the blow dryer on my hair as possible to get my hair dry. I don't even think we get my hair to 100% dry. We get it like dry enough so that it can air dry the rest of the way. Especially, you know, protective styles, they take like hours. So even if the top of my hair is not completely dry, we'll stop, because by the time we get to the top, it's gonna be dry anyway. It's gonna be air dry. The other time I put heat to my hair is when I do my silk presses in order to trim my ends. I do my silk presses only once a year so that I can get an accurate trim. We're gonna talk about trims later, but drastically reduce the amount of heat you're putting on your hair. The third tip that I have for you guys is low manipulation protective styles, and that's anything from your braids, your twists, your wigs. It could be high buns, low buns, as long as your ends are moisturized and tucked away. And I think protective styles is what really got me through my transition period. For a minute, I was doing a lot of weaves, and I had a leave out section, which was I would either do a center part or a side part. And for that section, I would perm it and I would straighten it in order for it to match the hair that I was sewing into my head. And after a while, I noticed that majority of my hair was natural. It was just the top and the side that still had processor in it and that I was still putting heat to a lot. And I decided to transition that last part. So once the new growth kicked in and I didn't want to keep flat ironing the new growth in order to match and blend in with the hair, that's when I started switching to the wigs. And I did wigs practically until the rest of my hair transitioned. And I still do the protective styles, I still do the braids, I still do the passion twist, I still do wigs. Just make sure, because you know that your hair is not going to be able to be moisturized during that time, because you know you can leave those styles in for weeks, sometimes months. Just make sure before you put it in, your hair is nice and moisturized, because you're not going to be able to get to it while it's in that style. You also want to make sure that you're not pulling and tugging your hair in any extreme way. That's why you want to keep the style low manipulation. You of course can and should style your hair just for the switch up effect, but make sure that you're not pulling at your edges or any part of your hair, even if it's in the back, if you're putting up in a ponytail. Just make sure no part of your hair is pulling and tugging. The fourth tip I have for you guys is to massage oils into your scalp. Like I said before, I do my moisturizing routine every 2 days, and my hair soaks up moisture so quickly and does not retain it at all, to the point where if I do my moisturizing routine today in the morning, by tomorrow night it's gonna look and feel as if I did nothing the day before. And that tells me that I need to do my routine every single day. But for obvious reasons, I'm not doing that routine every single day. Number one, it's very time consuming. Number two, the longer and stronger your hair grows, that means the more product you're gonna be using. And for me to be using that much product every single day, I'm gonna be replenishing way too often. And number three, I simply just don't want to. So I'm not doing that entire routine every single day, but on the off days when I'm not doing my routine, I still wanna make sure I hit my hair with a little bit of moisture. I probably rub some oil in my hand and just pass it through my hair, just so I'm not neglecting it. And I also put oils and grease in my scalp and I massage them in. I'm going to show you towards the end the products that I use, but yeah, it's not enough to just put the oils onto your scalp. You want to make sure that you're massaging it in, because that gets the blood flow circulating, it stimulates hair growth, and honestly it feels good, so why not? I usually massage my scalp as a pastime. If I'm watching TV or I'm just waiting for anything, I'm at home, I'm massaging my scalp. And like I said, I'll show you the products that I use towards the end, but you can even use your fingers. Just make sure that you're massaging the oils in and making sure that you're tending to your scalp as well as your hair. And touching on moisturizing your hair, make sure you pay close attention to the ends of your hair, because the ends of your hair is the oldest part of your hair, and it's the part of your hair that needs the most TLC. Our scalp naturally produces its own oils, which is amazing, but we don't have straight hair where those oils are going to run down the hair shaft and get to the ends of our hair. Our hair has patterns, it has waves, it has curls and coils, and it's going to take a longer time to get to the ends of our hair, if it even gets there. So what we want to do is make sure we're putting that moisture to the ends of our hair, because like I said, it is the oldest part and it's the part that needs the most attention. The other thing you want to do is watch the fabrics that you're wearing, especially when you're wearing your hair down. Sometimes girls, their hair growth plateaus when they reach around shoulder length, and that's because the ends of their hair is breaking off on the fabrics of their clothes, and it seems as if their hair isn't growing, but it is growing from the scalp. It's just breaking off at the ends. We want to pay attention to what the ends of our hair is rubbing up against. I've been in situations where I've worn certain shirts, and by the end of the day I'm seeing like bits and pieces of hair all over the shirt. That's pretty much my ends breaking off. So you want to avoid that by, like I said, watching the fabrics that you're wearing when your hair, especially when your hair is down. And you want to also avoid that by making sure your ends are strong by moisturizing it often. When it comes to wash days, I do not have a wash schedule. When I say wash, I mean shampoo schedule, because as you know by now, I wet and moisture my hair quite often. But when it comes to actual wash days, I do not have a wash day schedule. And when I do wash my hair, I usually break my wash day down into 1, 2, or 3 lather with the shampoo wash days. And the simple reason for that is that even though shampoos are really good at getting rid of dirt and product buildup, it's also really stripping, and a lot of the times it can leave your hair really dry. So I break wash day down into either 1, 2, or 3 lathers with the shampoo, and I personally try to avoid 3 lather shampoo wash days. The way I avoid 3 lather shampoo wash days is by avoiding products that are going to build up in my hair. And when I say products, I'm not talking about the leave-in conditioner nor the olive oil. I use those quite often, and to me there are no cons, only pros to using that, because it helps in your hair absorbing moisture. The products I'm talking about are your gels, your mousses, anything that's just gonna sit on top of the hair and build up over time. Usually I'm only putting the water, the leave-in conditioner, and the olive oil in my hair which my hair is going to absorb that in. So by the time I get to wash day, I don't really have that much product build up. Therefore, I can probably use one, maybe 1.5 lathers. And again, I do not have a wash day schedule. I wash my hair as needed, which means if I wash my hair today and I feel like it needs to be washed in a week, I'm gonna wash it in a week. If a few weeks go by, or a month or so, and my hair doesn't need to be washed, I'm not gonna wash it until it needs to be washed. I'm not walking around with dirty hair. My hair is clean, and I'm maintaining my hair quite often, so my hair is in good condition. It's just that I don't have a set schedule to wash my hair. And like I said, when I do, I'm trying to limit the amount of shampoo that I use, and how I do that is limiting the amount of products that I put into my hair. So I don't have a wash day schedule. And speaking of schedules, I also do not have a trim schedule. I know that some people say trim your hair every 6 weeks, every 2 months, however. For me, I do not do that. I trim my hair much like I shampoo my hair as needed. I do a silk press once a year, and I did my silk press last week. And that is in order to get a good and accurate and deep trim, which is what my good sis did for me last week. She spent a few minutes trimming my hair, and I loved every second of it because I love knowing that I'm getting rid of like split ends, dead ends, so that when my hair is growing, I know that it's growing in the most healthy way. It's not looking thin and stringy. It's growing strong and healthy. So I encourage you guys to get trims. I just personally do not have a trim schedule. And that's not to say that I only trim my hair once a year, because that's not true. I do trim my hair every time I do a protective style and my friend blow dries my hair on low. Every time she blow dries my hair, I always ask her, do you think I need a trim? She'll either say yes, in which case she'll give me a quick trim, which is exactly that, a quick trim, and she'll just get rid of whatever dead ends, or she'll say no and we'll just move on. But those are more like unofficial trims. I do my good, deep, thorough trim once a year, and I do like smaller trims as needed throughout the year, but no schedule for trims, and also for me, no schedule for shampoos. So let's get into the products that I use. As you know, results vary when it comes to products. What works for me may not work for you. What works for you may not work for me. And we probably all have like different hair needs, and different products address those different needs. So when it comes to products, I'm asked quite a lot, but I'm always hesitant to share. But I'm gonna share with you guys what I use. And right now I'm on Aunt Jackie's line. What I would recommend is whatever line of products you're using, you want to stick with that line. So that line's shampoo is that line's conditioner, is that line's leave-in conditioner, that line's moisturizer, and you know, you get the point. I wouldn't recommend for you to use this person's shampoo and this person's conditioner. There are a few times when you find like a holy grail product and it just becomes a staple in your routine, but for the most part I try to stick to the same line. And right now I'm on Aunt Jackie's line. So this is the shampoo that I use, the Power Wash Intense Moisture Clarifying Shampoo. I use this the least, like I said before, of all the products, just because I try not to use as much shampoo. For the conditioner, I use the Fix My Hair Intensive Repair Conditioning Mask. This is my wash day routine products. And lastly, I use the Aunt Jackie's Quench Moisture Intensive Leave-In Conditioner. I use this the most, I replenish this the most, because this is a part of my moisturizing routine that I do multiple times a week. So I use my spray bottle. You of course can use any spray bottle. I just had to be extra and buy this one off Amazon. It's the continuous spray bottle. You can use any one you want, but my name would not be Akila if I didn't try something extra for no reason. But this is the spray bottle that I use, the leave-in conditioner that I use, and I use these two along with the olive oil multiple times a week. The shampoo and conditioner I use way less often. As far as my scalp goes, I use this hair grease. It's called Nature's Blessing. It's a green grease. I don't know if you can see, the bottle is green, and as you can see it's half gone, so I use it all the time. And I use the Wild Growth Light Oil Moisturizer. This is my scalp combination. And like I said, when I put it in my scalp, it's not enough to just put it there. You also want to work it in, massage it in. So once again, my name would not be Akila if I was not extra. So I bought these hair massagers. This one I bought, and it feels really good when you use this. You just work it in like this. For me, it worked until it didn't work, but now what I find is that it gets tangled in my hair. I cannot explain why that was not a problem from the beginning. I did not have that problem. Over time, I just found that as I'm working it into my scalp, when I'm ready to take it out, it gets stuck. And then I have to untangle my hair out of each one of these like little legs, and that's no fun, so I pretty much stopped using this. What I bought was this other scalp massager, and I got this one off Amazon, and when you press the button, it goes in a circle. There's 2 speeds, and then it also goes into different directions at 2 different speeds. So there's 4 settings on this. And price point, this I cannot remember if I got it off Amazon. It could have been Amazon, it could have been the beauty supply store, or it could have been like a pharmacy like Rite Aid or something in the hair section. I can't remember, but I do remember it being around $10. And this I got off Amazon for $40. Both of them work. This worked for me until it didn't. If you feel like you're not gonna have that problem that I have, I recommend. But this right here is kind of like a holy grail. This feels so good. And like I said, I massage the oils into my scalp as a pastime. Watching TV, doing whatever I'm doing, I'm massaging my scalp. You want to do that often. And when it comes to like detangling my hair, these are all of the products that I use. Especially with natural hair, you want to make sure that whatever you're using, it has like big teeth. So I would use a big teeth comb. This is like a holy grail for detangling my hair when it's wet. I have to use less passes on this to detangle my hair. This works like a charm. Or I'll use my pick, or this comb, or this comb. I wouldn't use anything with teeth smaller than this. This is the smallest that it'll go. Still a big teeth comb, but it's just really good at detangling my hair without it hurting, without it pulling too much, which also all goes into retaining length. So just make sure you're using big teeth combs. And those are the products and tools that I use practically on a daily basis. And that's it. Those are the tips and the tricks that I have, and those are the products that I use. I've been using these routines since my hair has been transitioning, and I continue to do it, and I've seen amazing results throughout my hair since starting my transition. So just a quick recap. Make sure your hair is moisturized. Develop a moisturizing routine. Understand how often you have to do that routine and stick to that schedule. Drastically reduce the amount of heat you put on your hair. If you can eliminate it, eliminate it. Practice using protective styles. Make sure you're massaging the oils into your scalp and, you know, stimulating the hair growth, getting the blood flow circulating. Don't let anyone tell you what you have to do and when you have to do it. Like I said, for me, I don't have a wash day schedule. I also do not have a trim schedule. Protect your ends because we want to retain length. It's not enough to just have our hair grow, but you want to be able to retain the length, and the only way to do that is to protect your ends at all times. And yeah, those are my tips that I have. Some tips that I remembered only after filming the video are to always wet or moisturize your hair to create slip before you detangle. You never ever want to detangle your hair while dry because you will be pulling out a lot of hair and causing unnecessary tension to your head. Always use soft materials like silk or satin whenever you're tying your hair down or going to sleep. Limit or avoid the use of cotton because it is very harsh, especially on the ends of our hair. Save the color experiments, the bleach, the strong chemicals for your wigs and your other protective styles unless a professional that you trust is doing your hair. And lastly, be patient. This is not an overnight process, but once you start taking care of your hair and following these routines, you will start seeing great results in your overall health of your hair. In my next video, I'll be showing you guys exactly what I did after straightening my hair to revert back to my curls because those wash days are slightly different. So I hope that you guys learned something from this video, and I hope to see you next time.